Hi, it's Leela. I have a stock phrase that I use when folks tell me I'm a role model or ask me for advice, like on how they can get closer to where I've gotten in my life. And it is work really hard and get good therapy. I want to talk to you about why good therapy is important. Um, so there has been a massive stride in mental health research in the world in the last, I'll call it 40, 50 years. Just monumental progress in terms of actual scientific thinking, monitoring of brain activity, actual studies looking into all aspects of the human mind and how we operate. And so the world of psychology now, it's so much more advanced than where it was back in the days of Jung and Freud and all of that. That was really the infancy of understanding mental health. And along with that, our society has had a lot of kind of toxic patterns that we've had that have just existed as norms. One of the obvious ones is my kids, and to a lesser degree myself, we're really in the first couple of generations where beating your children is not considered something that is required for responsible parenting. And by that I mean, corporal punishment, spankings, switchings, that kind of thing. What if you did not do that, you were an irresponsible parent. And now we're in the first couple generations of understanding that that is not required to be a responsible parent. Um, there are also all sorts of things having to do with rape culture, with the way that sexuality is approached, with how many people are victims of sexual violence, how many people are victims of violence, period. Not to mention the after effects, the generational effects of large scale war. My grandparents were strongly personally affected by the wars that they were part of, World War II, the Korean War, major trauma as a result of what they had to do in those wars and what they had to survive on the home front, living through that. And that has an intergenerational effect, especially untreated. So, untreated mental health disorders like post traumatic stress disorder have an effect on the children being raised by those people with those conditions. Um, and I mean, just think about it logically. Like, if like, I'll give you a personal example. So, my mother's father was in the Korean War and came back with severe post traumatic stress disorder, where he sometimes did not know where he was. I remember him taking my brothers out to throw rocks at cars because he was so out of it that he was like, "It's the enemy tank. Got to throw the rock to get rid of the tank." It's an extreme example. My family of origin was really messed up, but to a lesser example, or to a lesser degree, when a person is responding from a place of trauma response, they're just not able to be as empathetic and engaged with their children and provide that nurturing support. So these are just a few examples. I'm drawing from my own life. I know that there are also a ton of examples having to do with people who are dealing with different racial and ethnic backgrounds, different cultural backgrounds that come from all sorts of different things. Not to mention the massive trauma that is slavery in this country and the history of slavery and oppression and racism and violence. So many sources of issues. And then we've got just basic chemical imbalances that we're coming to understand and be able to treat, but that just have always been there in our population. Um, so, treating these things, seeing professionals to treat these things, and managing mental health in the same way that you would manage your physical health, um, is really life changing in terms of your ability to connect with your own truth, your ability to really understand your own value system, and also resiliency to the crazy world we've got going on out there now, and being able to, um, really just be your best self and operate the way that you want. Um, I don't think everybody needs like lifelong long term therapy, but I do think it advantages almost everybody to check in, to do the work of going to a therapist and evaluating what's going on and asking yourself the question: Is what's going on with me because of my mind, because of my body, because of both? Because they're much more interconnected than we think. Uh, so anyway, that's my 2 cents and why I think that therapy should be a lot more widely utilized. And The stigma against it really should be just gone at this point because, frankly, most of us need some therapy, and that's okay, and there is no shame around that. In fact, I think that taking care of your mental health is something that we should praise and really hold up as a gold standard in our society. I would like to see a future where that's the case. Thanks very much and have a good day.